Thank you, EA, for sponsoring today's video. Apex Legends Legacy comes out on May 4th. This new mode, the Arenas, is some of the most fun I've had in gaming in a very long time. Thank you so much to EA for letting me play it early. I'm extremely excited to get back into the Arenas on May 4th, but for now, let's get into my ultimate guide of the Arenas. What's up, everybody? It's Chloe here, and today we're going to be going over everything you need to know to dominate Apex Legends new mode Arenas. I put a ton of effort into this guide. If you could leave it a like, drop a comment below, I really would appreciate it. Now, the Arenas is a 3v3 mode played on two different maps. You win by winning 3 rounds. You have to win by 2. If the game makes it to 4-4, then it enters overtime, and whoever wins that round will win the whole game. I love the Arenas. I know you will too, and today I'm bringing you my ultimate guide with all the tips and tricks you'll need to know to get started and dominate. We're going to be covering some bigger tips and tricks in the beginning, and then towards the end, I'm going to rapid fire some quick tips and tricks at you. Let's get straight into it. Tip number 1, I'm going to talk about what you should buy. In the buy menu, you can use credits to purchase weapons, abilities, heals, nades, and more. You start the first round with 550 and earn more as you go. Each kill is worth 75 credits, each canister you pick up is worth 200, and you save whatever you didn't spend from the round before. There's 3 canisters on the map that your team should play around in the first few rounds, as they'll give you an advantage if you can secure them. There's also 2 supply crates on the map that don't have credits, but they do have some supplies that I will get into later. Knowing all that, let's get into what you should buy. After the first round, a lot of what you buy is situational, but in the first round, you can either buy a shield battery with a Havoc or buy a better gun, but not be able to buy that shield battery, and you'll be very, very limited on heals. A lot of the time when I buy a gun over 400 credits and I'm left without a shield battery, I run out of heals really quickly and I can get finished off because I have nothing to heal with. The only way around this is to rush one of the 2 supply crates and pick up those shield batteries they have inside, but those take teamwork and a little bit of luck. If you're solo queuing, you're going to have a really hard time getting to those supply crates and getting out without taking a ton of damage. Your team can make a decision before the round to either play around the canisters, gaining credits, or buy a better weapon and rush a supply container. After the first round, a lot of it is situational. What I will say is you will want a long range sniper or DMR and a close range weapon. Whatever of those is your preference. Just make sure you're good at all ranges. After my weapons, I like to get 1 or 2 shield batteries and spend the rest on abilities, my ultimate, and medkit. Every game is different, especially after the first round. So use these tips and go play a few games, and you'll begin to figure out what works for you very quickly. Tip number 2, what legends should you play? Now, I've played the Arenas for a little bit. I haven't noticed any legend really standing out except for one. And that one, I'm sure you can guess it. 3v3, small map. It's obviously Bloodhound. Bloodhound is the one legend that is a must pick in every game. His scan covers basically half the map, and once you're fighting and once you've moved up towards the middle of the map, your scan is going to reveal the entire enemy team every single time. The other 2 legends on a team I don't feel like are must picks. Obviously some are better than others, but I recommend playing your comfort pick or whatever character you would play in the BR, because as of right now the fights are the same without the fear of being third party. Just whatever you're comfortable with, go play it. As long as you have a Bloodhound on your team, you'll be able to do just fine. The third tip we're going to go over today is teamwork. As I mentioned in tip 1, make sure you and your teammates are on the same page with your first round buys so you know what you're going to go for in the first round. Make sure you all stick together, or at least close enough so if one of your teammates is getting pushed, you can help. A good team that's working together is going to be able to push out an enemy that's out of position, so make sure that your team is in position, or else they're going to take advantage of you really quickly. And once you lose one player and you're in a 2v3, the other team will have to make a massive mistake to even give you a chance to win that round. So make sure that you're the team that is in position, taking advantage of the other team being out of position, instead of just getting put in those 2v3s that you'll never win. It's much easier said than done. As long as your team is pinging and talking, you should have no problem. Tip number 4 is strategies. I've mentioned before in the first round how you want to play for either the canisters and the supply crates. Now I'm going to add to that a little bit. If you open the map at the beginning of the round, not only will you see where the 3 canisters and 2 supply crates are, but you'll see where the supply drop is landing and where that first circle is. You'll always want to play the side where that first circle is and get to high ground. You'll have a clear advantage if you can get to that high ground inside the zone, because then the other team will have to come up to you and they will have almost no chance of actually doing that. This is Valkyrie's specialty. She's very, very good on the maps that have a lot of high ground. On the maps that are basically flat, she doesn't do that well, but on these maps in particular, she's very, very good. The more positioning you can get on high ground, the better. Some things you can do with your team at the beginning is you can have one teammate race for high ground and get some good positioning. You can have one teammate race for the canister or the supply crate, and then you can have one teammate support both of them as they do it. This will allow your team to get great map control and suffocate other teams that aren't communicating as well. Another strategy is to all 3 of you just to push high ground. This works better in the later rounds once you don't really need the canisters or the supply crates. Just push up to high ground and collapse on an enemy player out of position. If you are up there on that high ground though, don't leave it unless you see see one enemy really out of position, if you all just collapse on them, they're never going to win that 1v3. You'll always be able to kill that person. The last thing about strategy is just play off what the enemy is doing. If they keep 3-manning high ground, you'll either have to meet it or you have to give it up and collect the canisters and supply crates and play for the next round. You really need that high ground. If the other team's 3-manning it, you have to play into it. These strategies work great. If the enemy team is countering anything that you're doing, you're going to have to adapt and counter them. I can't really give you tips on how to counter the enemy team because I'm not in your games. I can't really tell you what they're doing and the best way to adapt to it. The best way for you to learn how to adapt to those situations is to just put in the hours. I know it's very simple, but it really is. The more you play, the more you'll learn, the more experiences you'll get into, and the more you'll learn how to counter those situations that you've lost to before. So just go play. You will learn how to counter those situations. Tip number 5 is reviving. Now, I've played a ton of games and I saw maybe 5 successful revives and a lot of failed ones. Unless you're in a sniper battle, these games are incredibly fast paced, and if your teammate goes down in a close range 3v3 fight, there's almost no chance you can revive them. Instead, use fake revives to bait out enemies. You'll be able to pick up some free damage, and as the enemy swings the corner thinking you're reviving, you might be able to even get a full kill. Unless your teammate is watching over you and you know it's safe, don't revive. It'll end bad way more than it will end good. All right, now tip number 6 is rapid fire. As promised, here are the rapid fire tips to help you dominate in the arenas fast. Tip 1, if you upgrade your gun a few times but you don't like the optic it gave you, you can press your middle mouse button down. I'm not sure what the bind is on controller. By pressing your middle mouse button down, it will allow you to put whatever optic you want on it. Tip number 2, always know where your teammates are. I can't say it enough. Just always know where your teammates are. If you get lost out there, you're gonna die really quickly and you're gonna put your teammates in a really bad spot. Tip number 3, get to high ground as quickly as you can. I know it's simple, just get up there and make sure you're in the zone. Tip number 4, always check the map to see where the first zone is, and that will allow you to play for the canisters and the supply crate inside the zone. Tip number 5, the bow is only 600 credits. Buy it as much as you can for your medium to long range weapon before they increase it. They may even increase it before May 4th. We'll see. Remember to pick up the canisters even in the later rounds because they will add up and they may help you get your ultimate or more of your ability in those later rounds, and that may be what makes you win games. Tip number 6, have fun. And tip number 7, the most important tip in this entire video, just go and play the game. Everybody is different. Everybody has different strengths. Everybody has different weaknesses. Everybody will have different experiences in game. The best way to truly improve is to play the game yourself. That's how you learn to be the best version of yourself. These tips apply to me. Some of them may not apply to you. The only way to truly get better faster is to play, and play some more. So if you're watching this video before May 4th, you have to wait some time. But if you're watching it after, hop in right now, start playing. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just go out there and grind. I promise you, if you do that, you will reach all of your goals in the arenas and you'll become the best player that you can be. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment about your favorite part. I love you all. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.